the chat. We're so excited to have you here. My name is Rachel. Welcome. I am the marketing and communications person here at the Small Business Development Center at Temple University. The Temple SBDC helps small businesses start, grow, and succeed. We do this through our no-cost consulting and a variety of no-cost webinars and training programs like the one you are attending today. You're joining us here for creating emails in the blink of an AI. We are recording today's session, and a copy of that recording and a copy of the deck will be sent to all of our attendees via email in the next few days. All of our attendees have been muted, but we encourage you to post any questions that you have throughout the webinar in the chat, and we'll be answering them throughout. I am now going to turn the floor over to our presenter, Ken.
Hey, thank you so much, Rachel, and good afternoon, everybody, or at least those of us who are on the East Coast or in the Eastern time zone. And if you're joining us from someplace else, good morning or a good evening to you. Every now and again, we wind up getting somebody from outside North America, and over there, it would be evening by now, if not nighttime. So wherever you're joining us from, welcome, delighted that you're here. As Rachel mentioned, my name is Ken Countess, and this session is called Craft the Perfect Message in the Blink of an AI. I'm going to show you how to use AI-generated content as a small business marketer. You could be a big business. You could be a nonprofit. This will work for you no matter what kind of a business you're in. So if you've already put in what kind of business you're in, awesome, and where you're joining us from, cool. And if you want to drop your email address in there too, that'll be great. So I want to welcome you. I'll be talking about how to use email marketing to sell more. And if you haven't attended one of my sessions before, I try to make it pretty casual. I'm going to open up the floor for questions at the end, but if you have questions during the session, if something comes up, I am watching the chat live. So if you see me look off camera, that's probably what I'm looking at, as I may have seen something pop in the chat. So once again, it's pretty casual. I'm going to talk first a little bit about the content. Some of it's going to be a little bit more advanced if you're not really familiar with what AI is or how it works. Some of it's going to be for everybody, right? And I'm going to do actually 2 demos today. So this isn't per se a training, but what you are going to see is how amazing AI can be for you. And I'll be showcasing some great features that are in Constant Contact and a tool that I use just about every day too, called Jasper. In fact, if you're on my mailing list, you will see some AI-generated content that's in today's email that actually goes out a little bit after this session. ChatGPT, I'm sure you've heard of that. Jasper may be one you're not as familiar with. Constant Contact is one of the big names in email marketing. So we're going to get all your questions answered, and hopefully we'll dazzle you a little bit. So I'll be showcasing some cool features, and then I'll unveil something that's pretty exciting. All right, so if you're with me, let's get going. With all this in mind, let's take a look at the agenda. And you'll see more specifically what I'm going to cover. First, what AI is, and a little bit about how it works. Some people are not really, they're not really sure. AI, I know it stands for artificial intelligence, but I don't know what that is. Then we'll talk about how to use AI in your marketing to save time and inspire your messages. I'll give you some tips for using AI-generated content. And then, of course, as I mentioned, there'll be a Q&A. So there will be 2 AI demos. I think you'll really enjoy them. But for now, what I'm going to ask you to do is remove all distractions. You may have a smartphone sitting in front of you. Most of us do. It's there all the time. It's always within arm's reach. Just put it aside for the moment. You may be getting texts. You may be checking email. We're only together for a short amount of time, and I want to be sure you get the most out of this session. And as Rachel mentioned, there will be recordings supplied. So while you will get the recording, I think you'll find it beneficial to stay with me this entire time because you'll hear some things that I may not necessarily talk about in the slides. But I'm also going to give you an opportunity to get all of the slides if you go to kenisemail.com/blink, like create an email in the blink of an AI. So I created this special page on my website. And by the way, you'll find that URL down at the bottom left of every page. You'll find a phone number in the middle down at the bottom of every page. You can use that to call or text me whenever you like. Or use my email address, which is ken@kenisemail.com. And that QR code takes you to the same page as kenisemail.com/blank. I will show this slide a little bit later on, but this is a way that you can go to a landing page, just drop in your email address, and you'll be able to download the presentation immediately. All right, so let's talk about AI. There's a lot of talk about AI this year, and it's more than just a buzzword, isn't it? It's here to help you market your business and inspire your marketing emails, your texts, and even social media posts. And all of that can save you a lot of time. So we'll take a look at some stats and what we're seeing on the use of AI. But first, let's get clear on what artificial intelligence really is all about. So I asked AI to define itself. I asked AI, give me an image too of what AI is. And that's what you're seeing here. And this was actually created by artificial intelligence. You see, AI is the creation by computer systems that imitate human intelligence. They imitate human intelligence, enabling them with tasks like problem solving and learning and decision making. And essentially, AI is an automated program. It's designed to simulate human behavior or human learning patterns. And AI also includes some subfields like machine learning and NLP or natural language processing. There's a lot of stuff that I don't need to cover too deeply here. Essentially, AI is an automated program that's designed to simulate human learning patterns. So if these terms aren't familiar to you, machine learning is where algorithms learn from data to improve performance or make predictions without explicit programming. And NLP, or natural language processing, is focused on enabling computers to understand and interpret and generate human language effectively. Now, as I'm saying these words, maybe you're getting excited about how AI may be able to help you process data and create content. The main thing to know is that machine learning and AI in particular, when it comes to marketing and email marketing, what it's doing is it's taking a look at things like best practices. It's taking a look at content and word choice, and it's pulling together the entirety of most of the internet to produce some different results for you. Now, AI and Constant Contact, there are a couple of different flavors of it, and they utilize different parts of AI. So if you're not there yet, don't worry. I'll walk you through some email marketing specific applications throughout our session today. Right now, though, I do want to highlight a use case for AI that happens behind the scenes. By the way, if you joined us a few minutes late, use the chat, not the Q&A. I see there's something up in the Q&A box, but I'm watching the chat live and I'll answer questions there. So if you had dropped something in Q&A, just go ahead and put it over in the chat and I'll go ahead and answer it for you. All right, listen, stats show that 79% of sales and marketing say AI helps their companies increase revenue. That's a pretty big number. Allison's asking, hey, what's the best AI tool for generating images? What AI do I use for images? Well, the answer really depends upon what kind of business you're in. I use Jasper AI. Jasper is something that used to be called Jarvis, and before that, Conversion.ai. ChatGPT does a great job too. You have to upgrade your subscription. If you're on the freebie, you probably want to go to version 4. But I'll show you how Jasper works live in a few minutes, so stick with me. 64% of business to business marketers consider AI to be a valuable part of their marketing strategy. And check this out. Top performing companies are more than twice as likely as others to use AI for their marketing. The truth is, a wide variety of businesses and nonprofits can see benefits by using AI generated content. Now, my name, you've probably heard, is Ken Countess. My company is kenisemail.com. I'm a certified constant contact partner and marketing coach. I've been a partner of Constant Contacts for over 12 years. We're in our 23rd year helping businesses just like yours with marketing. I do one on one coaching. I offer several packages. I've also got a podcast. You may have heard it. It's called the Everything Email Podcast. In fact, episode 78 dropped a few hours ago. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, or wherever you like to go for your podcast. You can find me easily on Alignable too. Alignable's like a small business LinkedIn. They have about 8 million members, where LinkedIn has 800 million members. So it's a little more unique, and it's a place where small businesses tend to congregate. I'm active in many groups on Alignable, including the Constant Contact community group. I'm also active in BNI and my local Chamber of Commerce, and you're invited to call me at the number listed below. I'm smiling because Kelly has just dropped in, hey, I listen to you all the time and I've been binge listening. That's awesome. Yes, Adam, Everything Email is the podcast. The Everything Email Podcast. Grace is asking, is Constant Contact the primary email marketing service you recommend, and are there others? Well, we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. I have been working with Constant Contact for 15 years, first as a customer and then as a partner. They actually recruited me to do workshops like these. But I can tell you, Constant Contact is great. MailChimp has its strengths. Salesforce and Keep and Infusionsoft and Aweber, GetResponse. There are dozens of them out there, but I'm going to give you a demonstration of Constant Contact a little bit later, not so much to talk about that specific tool, but the kinds of things you can use it for, including AI. And speaking of AI, the team at Constant Contact has actually been working with AI since 2019 to ensure customer emails get to the inbox. You see, delivery is a key step in your success with email marketing. Your emails have to reach your customers to have an impact, right? So the first place that AI is leveraged is a place you probably never thought about when it comes to email marketing. It's hidden, and that's in the systems themselves. You see, Constant Contact and MailChimp and several others have been in business for well over 2 decades. Constant Contact in particular, 26 years. And one way they've been able to stay in business that long is they have best-in-class deliverability, which means that if you build an email in that platform, it's going to get delivered. Now, the reason they have such great deliverability is that the emails of the world, the outlooks of the world, they trust Constant Contact. They know that they keep bad actors out. They keep the spammers out. So you may be thinking, yeah, that sounds good, but how do you do that? Well, in the old days, they had teams of people who were monitoring all this stuff, right? They have over 500,000 subscribers. So you can imagine the teams of people they had to have to monitor and make sure that the bad actors were staying out. But now they leverage AI. They have something called the spam bot. And what the spam bot does, and by the way, they still have humans watching over things too. The spam bot actually detects malicious content, meaning that there are certain words that we see in spam all the time, and there are certain words that we would never want to see in an email, period. And so these systems are able, the AI powered systems are able to detect and warn a human. Hey, there's a malicious actor. There's probably somebody acting like a spammer. So we need to stop it. So the systems will even stop the ability to send until they talk to a human. So it also improves, and this is important because deliverability affects all of us. So let's take a step back and talk about spam. We've probably all received spam, right? Many of us use Gmail. Gmail has a great spam blocker. In fact, what Gmail does is it will move some emails that it knows to be spammers and put them in a spam or junk folder. It will even block some emails from even getting to your inbox. That's how good it is. So when you receive spam, you probably have marked emails as spam, right? And if it happens often enough to you as a sender, it starts to hurt your sender reputation. So we want to keep bad actors out so that you, all the good folks who are here with us today, can get your content out. Now, if enough people start marketing email spam, well, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt the ability for you to get that email out. So the spam AI, we call it the Spaminator, is really in place to help keep best in class deliverability available to you. Constant contacts deliverability is over 97%. So it weeds out the bad actors using AI by detecting malicious content before it even gets out. So that's just one example of how AI impacts your marketing behind the scenes. Now, let's get a sense of where everyone is with their email marketing currently. You see, AI can create dynamic segments for you. You may be wondering, what does that mean? Well, these are lists that dynamically update based on the engagement people have with your emails. And by the way, you can also consider creating specific segments and automations based on clicks within an email. So let me give you an example. If you take a look at what's on screen right now, you'll see four categories: most engaged, somewhat engaged, least engaged, and then everybody else. So, what does that mean exactly? Well, the system sees who is opening emails, who is clicking on emails, who's not opening anything at all. This helps you in this respect. If you know that there are certain people that are never opening anything you send, you can actually target them with a special email. And when you target them with that special email, you try to get them engaged, right? That's going to help you a lot. Now, there are other people who are the most engaged. These are people who open up everything you send, and those are your most valuable customers. Now, if you're on my mailing list, and I see many of you are putting your email address in the chat, that's great. I'll go ahead and save the chat and I'll add you to my mailing list because the email that's actually going out a little bit later today talks about something called customer lifetime value. Customer lifetime value has to do with sending emails to the people who are your most valuable clients. These are people who not only open everything you send, but they buy more frequently from you. And they tend to be the most engaged people. This is really good information for you. So this is something we'll cover as I go through the demonstration a little bit later on in our session. Now, here's something else to check out. Look at this most engaged slide. Now, this is something I sent to people not very long ago for one of my clients. This client is actually a law firm based in Pennsylvania. And what we did about 3 months ago was we separated out one email, but we sent it to those four different segments: to the least engaged, the most engaged, the somewhat engaged, and those that aren't engaged at all. And check this out. When we sent the email that way, we had an 85% open rate when we sent to the people that are most engaged. Now, it sounds pretty obvious, right? But here's what it does for you when you're sending emails out. When you're sending to the most engaged people and your open rate is that high, what it helps you do is get your email into their inbox instead of in the junk folder, the spam folder, the social folder. You know the way Gmail sorts things out, right? You always want to be in the inbox and not one of those secondary folders. And this is one of the ways you could do that. Now, here's something else that's super cool about AI, and I'll show you how it works in a few minutes. AI can recommend subject lines and the pre-header text that's based on the content of your email. Now, when it comes to the subject line, there's another piece of AI sitting right inside Constant Contact. It's actually been there for a few years. The first thing to know about subject lines is that they're going to be different based on your audience. So we'll take a look at what that means in closer detail. But what the subject line recommendation tool does is it will take a look at the content of your email and it will recommend a subject line that's short and sweet that will encourage people to open that email for you. Now, before you schedule emails too, you can use AI to check for errors that'll avoid embarrassing moments, like forgetting to include a link. So when you're building an email, this is in the top right corner of Constant Contact. I'm going to show you how it works in a few minutes. When you check for errors, AI is doing a couple of different things. It's looking actually at your content and seeing some obvious mistakes, perhaps like a link you didn't actually make into a link. Maybe you didn't put the URL in there to make it a link inside your email. But then it also looks at things like best practice. So what we see here is that there are two notes under subject line. Now, that could be because the subject line is not following best practice. Often you're going to see that red flag because your subject line is too long. So we want to make sure that we check our email using this AI-powered check for errors every single time we're about to send an email to make sure that not only do we not have any mistakes, but that we're also sending out the best email possible.
Sometimes, the only thing more difficult than running a business is finding the right words to market it. Lucky for you, our new AI content generator doesn't sweat words. Just tell it what you want to create, enter a few details, click Generate Content, and in just seconds it'll give you options to build from or leave as is. Writer's block? Not anymore. With artificial intelligence doing the wordsmithing for you, you can craft the perfect message in the blink of an AI.
So I'm going to show you how that works in just a few minutes. So what I want you to be thinking about is if you're in business already and you have a product or service, think about how you might describe it in 2 words or 3 words, and you're going to see the magic of AI. This is, and what you're going to see is 2 ways to use AI. One is ChatGPT, and the other is Jasper. Okay, so I mentioned that AI can recommend subject lines. It can also recommend pre-header text based on the content of your email. And that pre-header text is the stuff you see just below the subject line. So how do they work? Well, they use data analytics and machine learning. And it may sound complicated. The programming probably is. You don't need to worry about it because it's not complicated when it comes to using AI in your marketing. It really does save you time and makes messages even more effective. So you input a couple of keywords or phrases, and then you get the copy that you can use in your marketing materials. Sound pretty good, right? We put a couple of words or phrases in there, and it'll generate an entire email for you. So we use AI generated content in a variety of different channels. Places like email subject lines and pre-headers, social posts, even SMS texts. email content, product descriptions, blog posts, and other website content. You're going to be amazed at what I'm going to show you. AI generated content can help you accomplish so much more too. When you're stuck and you can't figure out what to write, it's a great place to start to banish writer's block. It'll help you communicate more effectively. It will improve your campaign's impact. And ultimately, it'll save you time because you're not just sitting there trying to figure out what to write. See, in our conversations with many small businesses and nonprofits, I know that many of you also have some concerns on this, and you'll learn more as I go through this today. But the most important thing to know is that AI is here to help you. And in terms of content, it's really just a starting point for your content and your messages. So a few minutes ago, I talked about the pros or benefits of using AI, but there are also some cons or concerns. Some people say, well, it lacks a human touch. While AI has become much more sophisticated, it really can't replicate your personal or brand voice. At least ChatGPT can't. Jasper, what I'll show you, does. It can't really emulate creativity and what a human can do. And AI does make mistakes. It's only as good as its input. And the information that's available isn't always accurate. Sometimes it just doesn't even make sense. And I'm also asked sometimes if there are copyright laws in place that cover using AI. Well, there are no copyright laws in place yet. This is a conversation for future regulators. Current copyright laws cover content created by a human being, but there may be some instances where work that contains AI-generated content could be protected. And I expect this will evolve in the future. Another common question I get is, well, how do you properly fact check AI-generated content? You really do need to double check the data, the stats, and the figures. Read for context to make sure it makes sense. And verify claims using your company or organization experience or other sources you may have. Another question is around if AI will start to create posts or emails or content that are too similar to everyone else's content. That output is very dependent on the input. The more text you give it, the higher the probability of unique output. Less input, you're more likely to get more generic output. So right now, the tools take a single input and produce text. They don't combine other attributes from an account like industry or proper nouns or tone or context. But as these tools evolve, they'll use more of the data that's already in an account to augment or improve the results. And that'll give you more unique content. If you don't provide a lot of input, you'll likely get something generic that sounds too similar to other content. So it's important in the current stage of AI to provide good input or context whenever you can. Include names of your products, the tone you would like to use. The output is really only meant to be a starting point. So I would highly encourage you to tweak and modify the content to fit your brand voice. And longer term, as the system gets to know more about you and your business, you'll have to do less editing because the content will start to feel natural and unique. All right, we're going to jump in and do a demo now. The first demo we're going to do is I'll show you how to do emails using Constant Contact and how that Spaminator works and a few other things too. Yeah, Stephanie says it's best to proofread everything. Totally true, Stephanie. You're right on the money with that. Okay, so let me switch screens here for a moment. Let's see. This is the beauty of live TV. Here we go. So right now you should be you should be seeing my Constant Contact account. If you've never been inside Constant Contact, this is what it looks like. This is on the home page. And what you can see here, I'll just take you in a quick walkthrough, and I'm going to move some stuff around the screen so my view is not blocked and I can watch what's going on in the chat more effectively. Okay, so when we're inside a live constant contact account, and by the way, let me put something in the chat here while I have a moment. Give me 1 second. Making sure the spelling's right, proofreading. There we are. Okay, so if you were to use that link, let me just make sure it's working correctly. And it is. It's taking you to the right page. That'll take you to a place where you can try this tool for totally free for 60 days. There's no credit card required. Let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun, shall we? What we're going to do is we're going to start out by creating an email using AI. Brian's asking, what's the typical cost after 60 days? Brian, it depends on the number of email addresses in your account. If it's 500 or fewer, it starts at $12 a month. And if you get the standard, the middle package, it starts at $35 a month. And the premium package, which has all kinds of cool bells and whistles, really cool automation, which I'll demonstrate in a few minutes. You'll see a little bit more about how AI works. That one starts at $80 a month. But you can start at $12 a month or less. And if you do wind up using that link, I'll have a special discount applied to your account, so you'll actually start at under $10 a month. Okay, so let's try this out. Let's get your creative juices going. Now, the first thing we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how that Spaminator thing works. This is an email that I created earlier today, in part using AI. You can see it's scheduled to go out at 1:20 this afternoon. For the moment, I'm going to unschedule it. And I'm going to go into modify it a little bit. Going to open up this email. And you see up here, this is talking about customer lifetime value. That's the nature of my email today. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, as I mentioned earlier, we can preview it. We can send a test email to ourselves and make sure that we're receiving it correctly. And we can have it check for errors. Now, this is what you saw in the PowerPoint. What it's doing here is it's taking a look at everything in that email, and it's saying, okay, there are 2 things to know about in the subject line, 1 thing to know about in the pre-header, 1 note in the from email address, and that the links and buttons, everything looks great. So let's take a look here. It's saying in the subject line, the length is great, 4 words. The emoji, I'm not using any. That's cool. It's saying, hey, use fewer than 2 special characters. I'll show you what I mean there in just a moment. And that personalization, it recommends using personalization. So the subject line here you see is 4 words. When it's looking at the symbols, I have an open and closed parentheses. And what it's doing here is it's saying that some spam filters will flag an email that has more than 1 symbol. Now, open and closed parentheses is 2. You can't really get around that too easily. This is the pre-header here. And I personalize the email. It's going to take the info from my database and put in the first name or friend name. If I don't have the first name, I'm asking it to substitute the word friend. All right, so that all checked out fine using the preview and text. So Patrick's asking, so to get the AI capability, do you need to sign up for top level? No, actually, it's in the very basic package. They have it set up right now on beta, so it's free for everybody. And the 60-day free trial gives you all the features. So you can get in there and play with it to your heart's content. And it works incredibly well. Okay, so that's a little bit about how that Spaminator thing works. That's the check for errors. Let's go in now and let's create a brand new email from scratch. This is where we get audience participation. Ready? This is going to write an email for us. It's going to write the content based on keywords, and you'll see how it'll create the email draft for you. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and try it out. Let's see who the first couple of people are in that give me a sense of your product and then your company name and then a couple of words about that product. So we only need a couple of keywords. Melissa's first one in was staffing and recruiting firm, safety technology, travel planner, starting my own business. Okay, so we'll do a couple of these, right? We have plenty of time. We always build in extra time to make sure we can get things answered. So I'm going to take Melissa's staffing and recruiting. Okay, so Melissa, what about staffing and recruiting? Eagle Staffing Company. Okay, give me something else there. What is it that makes you unique? Let me scroll down and see what else we have here. Okay, just for the sake of time, okay, we volunteer with our clients. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, staffing and recruiting, Eagle Staffing. We'll say focused on nonprofits. All right, and we'll ask it to create a text-only email. We're going to do that as a newsletter, and we're going to give it a professional tone, and we'll hit create. And within just a few seconds time, check this out. We have everything written for us. This is all we need for our first email. At Eagle Staffing Company, we understand the unique staffing needs of nonprofit organizations. That's why we focus exclusively on recruiting and staffing for the nonprofit sector. Now, obviously, I made up this piece here. It may not be 100% on, but you get the idea. And if you don't like it, you just create a new one. So let's go ahead and create another one. Let me go back over and see what's in the chat. Perla has all natural premium soy candles and perfumes. So let's go ahead and let's put that one in now. And Perla, give me a little bit more color on that. All natural premium soy candles and perfumes. In other words, do you have a brick and mortar location? Do you sell only online? I'll just wait for a moment here so you can get to the keyboard. Okay, I'll just say shop online 24/7. How's that? And we'll make this one enthusiastic and we'll make it a product promotion. And so for Perla, it comes up with this in just a matter of a few seconds. Even before I finish making my comments, it says, hey, are you tired of artificial fragrances that give you headaches and irritate your senses? Look no further because our all-natural soy candles and perfumes are here to provide you with a soothing and fragrant experience. And of course, it goes on from there. And if we don't like it, we could just create something new. Let's see. So Samantha says, often I find the AI text too wordy. How can you get a shorter answer? Just put fewer keywords in. Or, the key here is not to necessarily write the entire thing for you, but rather to eliminate writer's block. It may stimulate some thinking for you. And it's not a matter of copy the entire thing and throw it into an email, but make it your own. Make it sound like your own. And then you'll be able to get it just like you like. Pearl is asking, can you edit the text? Yeah, of course you can. Stephanie asked the same question. So let's do this. Let's copy this text. and we'll close it up, and we'll go up here and create a brand new email. And we'll just start from scratch, although there are 400 different templates you can choose from. And so the first thing we're going to do, because I don't have Perla's logo, is we'll just use mine. And I have abbreviated it here. So we're just like this. We'll drop our logo in, and we're going to use this space, and we're just going to paste in that copy that ChatGPT wrote for us. And we'll make the text a little bit bigger. I like to use 16 point to make it stand out. And we'll do this. We'll separate each sentence to make it easier to read. And so if you want to edit it, you could certainly do that. So are you tired of artificial fragrances that give you headaches? We'll just take that out, right? And we can make it anything we want it to be. It's really, really simple. Kelly says, hey, in ChatGPT, you can specify the number of paragraphs and number of sentences. Yes, you can. So there's one example of how you can use AI to create your next email campaign. You can also use it to create social posts. You can have it write web copy. I'm going to show you a little bit about how that happens in this other tool that I use every day. And this is called Jasper. And in fact, I'll put a link to a Jasper trial in here too, which gives you a 7-day free trial of Jasper. And this is an affiliate link. I will be able to tell that you signed up for it, and that'll give me a way to help. Do I suggest Jasper for social posts, is what Kate says. Well, let me show you this. Jasper has 73 different templates that you can choose from. So here with social media, we can have it write our social text for us. We can have it write text ads for us. We can have it write a blog. I use it all the time to write blog posts. And the key here is that you modify it to sound like you, right? You don't necessarily have to use what it generates for you. So if we go over here, maybe we wanted to create a social post. Maybe we wanted to put something up in LinkedIn. Maybe we have a website and we want to improve the content on our website. So does somebody have a web page that they'd like to see Jasper rewrite for them? Again, this is all in the context of AI and how AI can help you become a better marketer. Jen just put in a website, so let's go ahead and take that one. Oh, cruise planners. I know a cruise planners person that lives locally. They have great, great stuff. So let's go here and let's go to the Learn More About Us page. And we'll take this web copy and we'll ask Jasper to improve upon it. And we'll say, let's take Jen's content and look at that. Even before I got done speaking, Jen says, travel's my passion and I love exploring new places. Here is, are you a travel enthusiast like me? I have a passion for exploring new places and immersing myself in different cultures and creating unforgettable memories. Maybe you don't like that one. Maybe you like this one instead. Are you passionate about travel? Do you love immersing yourself in different cultures? Maybe we don't like any of those. So we say, well, give me 3 more choices here, Jasper. And again, within just a few seconds, we have more content to choose from. So I always recommend that people get in and try these free trials. We can go in and have it create new website copy for us. You just saw one example of that a few moments ago. Maybe you need an improvement on SEO. Maybe you need the content of your website rewritten so that it stands up. You have higher page rankings when it comes to search engine optimization. So here are a couple of examples of that too. Let's go back and finish up what I was showing you earlier. Let me go back to the PowerPoint and we'll cover a few more things before we go back to the Q&A. So as I showed you a few moments ago, there are 73 different templates that you can use. These are all AI-based. One of the great things I like about Jasper is that you can actually have it sound like you. You can tell it what tone of voice you want. Maybe you don't even like the tone of voice that your website has. Maybe you want to sound like Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, or maybe you want to sound like Ellen DeGeneres, or maybe you want to sound like Gary Vaynerchuk, the wine store guy. These are all ways that you can try Jasper and see how it works. So once again, that's jaspertrial.net. jaspertrial.net. And that's a great way for you to try it out free of charge for 7 days. And if you like it, then you stick with it. So I just dropped that in the chat. Then let's talk again about email marketing. For every dollar you spend on email marketing, there's a 36-to-1 average return on investment. I've got one client that gets $350 back for every dollar she spends. So here's the thing. Now you can take your email marketing game to the next best level. Hey, welcome to the AI revolution. Kate's asking, what's the monthly charge for Jasper? The last I looked, Kate, it was $29.99 a month. I may be off a little bit on that. Could be $39, but I believe it's $29.99 a month. So there's a URL that you can use to sign up for Constant Contact free of charge. That's a slightly different URL than the one I put in the chat a few moments ago. But we'll put this one in here as well. Both of them are affiliate links. So what I recommend you do is not go to constantcontact.com. This is going to give you a way that you'll work with me directly. You'll be actually signing up on a Constant Contact webpage that has me tied to it. And what happens when you do that is you automatically become a member of my inner circle. The inner circle is a free membership. Did you get that? Free? And what we do in the inner circle is every month there's a 1-hour call that you're invited to attend. You'll get an invitation each month to attend a free 1-hour call. And during that call, you come to me with your questions. You may want to show off some of the work you're doing inside an email marketing program. And we answer your questions and give you tips on how to become a better marketer. So the next call is next Wednesday, which I believe is the 18th. Laura, I see your note there. You already have Constant Contact. That's great. That's great. No sad face needed. What we'll do is we'll have you move your account under my partnership, and then you'll become a member of our inner circle, as long as you didn't sign up under a different partner, because I will never take any business away from somebody else. All right, so just send me an email or just drop your email address in there and we'll take care of that for you. Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes. I am going to make sure that I've got all your questions answered. Once again, if you joined us a few minutes late, if you go to kenisemail.com/blink, that'll give you a copy of the presentation. And Kelly, yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It's, you know, all that, and nobody likes to go through death by PowerPoint, right? I always like to include live demos in the classes that I do, so you can get a real sense of what it looks like in real time. When people set up a call with me, there's never a sales pitch. I'd encourage you to set up a free 15-minute call. You'll tell me a little bit about your business, what kind of struggles with marketing you may be having, and I'll give you some free tips on how to be a better marketer. Once again, no sales pitch at all. All right, so that's how you stay in business for 23 years. My name is Ken Countess. My company is kenisemail.com. We've got about 9 minutes left before the top of the hour. You will be getting something from a Temple SBDC, a form to fill out a survey. I hope that you have found this helpful and a great learning experience for you. I'm going to take a moment here and scroll up in the chat and make sure I didn't miss answering any of the questions. But if there's a question you come up with afterward and you say, gee, I wish I asked this question, just go ahead and reach out to me. You see my email address at the bottom right of every slide. All right, and I see thank yous coming in. Melissa, Courtney, Kelly, you're welcome. Laura, you're welcome. Shelley says, hey, I saw $49 today. That may be, I guess you're talking about the monthly Jasper chart. They play around with the pricing. You might want to sign up for the free trial, and then you can adjust based on whichever package you want. They have several packages, so just pick the one that works best for you. Kate's asking, do I suggest Jasper for social posts? I do, Kate, but I think Constant Contact does an equally good job of social post AI. And so you could try that free inside the Constant Contact trial. Okay, Rochelle says, hey, that's how I use it to get over writer's block. I use it all the time. I've been a marketer my entire career. And you know what? Some days you're just not inspired. Or sometimes you run out of angles to talk about. And so that's what makes something like this a great tool for you to figure out how to make your point, get your marketing presentation across in just a few words. Okay, let's see. I'm just scrolling up the chat here to make sure that I've answered all the questions, and then I'll go back down. I see there are 17 new messages in there. I will make sure that I get to everybody. Typical cost after 60 days. We did answer that one. So let's see. Grace asks, is Constant Contact the primary email marketing service I recommend? The answer is yes, but here's why I answer it yes. It's because for many businesses, you don't need super sophisticated stuff. You just don't. And so there are some really sophisticated programs out there that do all sorts of really interesting things. In fact, we do have a couple of minutes. I'm going to show you how their automation works. I'll do another live demo here in just a moment. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, looks like, okay, so we got all those answered. Let me go down to the bottom and see what else, what other questions there may have come in. Nicole, you're welcome. Janice, Candace, Sabrina, Anthony, Crystal, Jared, yeah, glad you all got stuff out of there. Melissa using Copy AI. Yeah, Jasper, I have Copy AI too. I do find Jasper much better. Is there AI generated stock photos for emails? Yeah, you could try using Jasper for that. ChatGPT will do that too. Grace asks, can Constant Contact do SMS marketing? 100%. Yes, it does. Alana says, I love how you make using this tool as very normal as a business owner, not as if it's coming up with your own content. Yeah, 100% on that, Alana. Diane asks, for now, is it completely legal to copy AI content word for word? Yes, right now, because there are no regulations about using AI content. However, I would always opt for making sure that you're not using it 100% without making sure that you're proofreading it first and making sure that it's accurate, because AI is going into the web and it's looking at other content and it's synthesizing other content. So the thing you do want to be sure you're doing, Diane, is fact checking and making sure that if it's throwing some facts in there, that the facts are correct. Stephanie asked about drip campaigns. We're actually going to show you that right now. So you should be looking at my Constant Contact account again. JJ, you're welcome. And so here, let me show you how we use Constant Contact for drip campaigns. We go into automations, and they have all sorts of automations that are already set up. They have recommended path templates. Here are a series of path templates. So let's, for example, nurture new subscribers to our campaign. So we start out with something that looks very basic. And so the way we start out is when someone subscribes to a list of yours, we can have the system send an email out, and we could have it send, we could create a new email, or we can take from an existing email. And because you may have already created some campaigns that you want to work from. So let's, for example, use this one and then continue. All right, so now it has just added this email to that drip campaign. We'll close this window up for the moment. All right, so now it's taken, when someone subscribes to the list, it's going to send them this email, but we get to choose when that email goes out. And we could say, wait a week, or we could say, wait a minute, or, I mean, it's totally flexible. And then after they get that email, maybe we have a conditional split. This is the beginning of that drip campaign. So maybe after they've opened that email, we have the system wait a week. And then if they click on a link, right? So maybe the contact takes activity and they click a link in the email from that campaign. We'll use this campaign again. And if they click a link, it goes down this path. And this path may be that we send them an SMS. And then if they don't take action, we instead send them an email. So it's this easy to build. It's 100% flexible. Okay. So we're just about at the top of the hour. I'm going to say thank you, everybody, for joining me on this event. I hope that you learned a lot, and I hope, too, that you'll join me again the next time Temple SBDC invites me back. And Rachel, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Absolutely. And you will definitely be getting an invite back. This was fantastic. We love having you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on your lunch hour. We hope that you learned something. I know I did, and I am the person who manages our emails. So I'm sure if I learned something, you guys learned something. If you are all able to learn something together, I want to thank you, Ken, for taking the time to teach this incredibly relevant and topical topic for us. I wanted to draw attention. We did put our survey in the chat. You'll also be receiving it in a follow-up email, and you'll be receiving a recording and a copy of the slides in that follow-up email as well. So if you haven't filled out our survey, we ask that you do so when you get that link. It helps us to improve our offerings to you, and also it's a requirement of our funder, the SBA, so that we can continue to offer great webinars like the one we were able to have today. So with all of that, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you again, Ken. It was really fabulous.
My pleasure. Have a great day, everybody. Look forward to the next time we get together.